What is going on, Facebook? I have not been on live in a minute. So tonight, I'm gonna briefly go over a few things that I have been hearing a lot of just from reaching out to you guys inside of the group, and typical issues I see with a lot of frontline professionals, first responders, and help you guys get going in the right direction, right? So if you guys don't know me, if you're new to the group, my name is Megan. I am the CEO and founder of Valkyrie Fitness Nutrition. I've been helping frontline professionals for over 3 years. I used to work in law enforcement, prior military, so I have a really good understanding on maintaining your fitness inside of 12-hour shifts, right? I worked swing shifts with nights. I overtime, working in a vehicle all day, and then same thing with the military when we would be out on the field for quite some time. So making sure you guys have a really good idea on how to navigate all those things. My wife, she is an ICU travel nurse, so she's gone to different hospitals. She works day shift, she works night shift, and still has been able to maintain her fitness as well. She has also been helping me inside the business to help, point clients in the right direction. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you drop them inside of the live. That way me and her can go in, answer them. But like I said, tonight we're gonna dive into what I hear a lot of, which is time, right? The word time. I don't have enough time. And then the other one is I'm not feeling super motivated. And that usually falls into the time category, right? So most people that are like, I don't have enough time, it's because like they feel less motivated too, right? Because your schedule is pretty much jam-packed throughout the week. So finding time for yourself is usually last on the list. So today we're going to just like navigate ways around that and how you can really pinpoint some areas in your day to day where you can find ways to either prepare really good food or get some sort of activity in. Because what I find for most people who are frontline professionals is that because you're so busy, you're usually grabbing food on the go because you haven't really learned ways to navigate some meal prepping that's just simple, quick, and easy, or you're finding that there's not enough time in the day to get workouts in, which when I start to peel back layers and trying to work on time management with people, that's where we start to find pockets of time, right? It's time where it could be spent getting some sort of activity in that doesn't have to be super demanding. I've worked with clients that have worked up to 100 hours per week, right? 90, 80, 70, 60, so on and so forth. So we have to find ways around their schedule in order for it to work. So if that's you, and maybe if you're watching the replay, and you are feeling like maybe time is something that you're struggling to navigate, write the word time in. So, and also maybe even write in the amount of hours you work per week, right? So how many hours a week do you work? That way we can kind of pinpoint and find out some way around it, because I hear a lot of people working 40 hours a week and they're like, I don't have enough time, which if you think about it, 40 hours a week as opposed to someone working 100 hours a week, that's a big gap in hours, right? So we want to make sure, like, if you are working 40 hours a week, what are you doing in the time from, that to someone that working 100 hours a week where you're not finding pockets of scheduled time? Because a lot of times too, we believe it's time when in actuality we're just making excuses, or we're just feeling really lazy and we just don't want to get workouts in, which is totally okay. Like we're humans, we're going to feel lazy some days, we're not going to feel super great, but we have to ask ourselves, what can I do to help push myself to get the activity level in, right? A lot of us need the activity due to our professions, whether it's getting in a PT test, maybe it's you're noticing you're struggling to perform your duties. I have a lot of firefighters who struggle to do routines and different types of jobs inside their profession. Maybe you're EMS and you're having problems lifting people into the stretcher, the ambulance, things like that. You could be a nurse, you might have to turn people throughout the night. So you're struggling like lower back pain, you don't feel strong enough. So all those things come into play, right? And that's why we want to make sure we're getting adequate activity in throughout our weeks so we can perform better. And it's also going to help us with our how we feel later on in life, right? Retirement comes very fast. And a lot of people working these really stressful jobs have health issues as they leave the job. So now they're not working anymore, but they're ending up going to the doctor's office all the time. So think about it this way, right? If you spend the time now preventing all of that, you're going to have time later on in your retirement to enjoy those years and be able to keep up with if you have grandkids, or maybe you just want to travel. I know a lot of people when they retire, the whole thing is just going and traveling and but that's prevented because of their overall health. So we want to stop that right in the butt as soon as we can. So let's talk motivation. My wife and I, like I said, we've been talking to a lot of people in the DMs and things like that, and we keep hearing motivation, motivation, motivation. She looks at me and she goes, a lot of it, she's like, there's no such thing as motivation. I go, I know, I understand that, like I know that, but for a lot of people, they put that word up on a pedestal, right? We put motivation up really high and we're like, well, if I don't have that, I can't get my workouts in. One, not necessarily, right? It comes down to your why, right? Why do you want this? Do you really want to reach those goals? If you do, right, think about when you started your profession, right? You really wanted to become maybe a nurse or in law enforcement or a military or something, right? So you made sure that you had all your ducks in a row, right? If you had to go through any screening processes, you want to make sure you're ready to go. So the same thing is going to apply to your fitness journey, right? You have to make sure that you have all those things in a row, even on days when you don't want to, right? Nobody wants to always get up and work out. There's weeks, days, sometimes where I don't feel like going to the gym, or like I go to the gym and my workout's not super great, but I still show up for myself, right? And that's what want you guys to kind of like think about over these next couple days is how do I show up better for myself even when I don't feel like it. A couple of tips that I've given to people in the group or even clients is like I call it liquid motivation, right? You just drink some pre-workout prior to leaving work is exactly what I used to do, right? After like when I was a new in law enforcement, I had to get there early and stay late, right? Because we were one of the new kids on the block. So your days, as you know, like we normally have a 12-hour day, was like a 14 to 16-hour day, depending on your travels. Sometimes depending on where I was stationed, was up to an hour away. And I knew like, hey, I still have to get a workout in because, at least one day out of my shift, something like that, right? I had other days off, which is great. But you have to pick and decide, like, okay, this is the day I'm doing it, right? It's a non-negotiable for yourself. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to make an effort to get there. How do I do it? If I'm super low on energy, right? You have a 16-hour day. And then I would, if we were allowed to use the gym station, or I would go to my normal gym, I would make sure in my car, I would always keep a little bit of pre-workout in a shaker cup and then fill my water, right? And I would drink it right before I left because I had a long commute. So by the time I got home, I had like a bit of energy, so I'd be able to get my workouts in and jump on it. What's up? What's up? I see people jumping in. So that way, if you don't feel like you have the energy or the motivation, you get a little bit of pre-workout in your system and you're going to feel really, really good by the time you get home from your commute to get in something, right? 10, 15, 20 minutes. Doesn't have to be anything super long. Don't need to work out for an hour and a half, nothing crazy like that. But it'll help boost your energy levels by the time you get home. And then after you get a really good workout in, you're going to feel good. You're going to go to bed. So that's one way to get motivated in a sense in terms of your workouts, because that's what I find for most people is they rely so much on how they feel, right? Their emotions usually drive us, our mindset. And some really good tips and tricks is just like you could set reminders in your phone, like, hey, like an alarm when you're leaving work. Hey, you said you're going to get a workout in today, and it'll go off, right? As you're leaving work. And you're like, ah, okay, like I'm gonna do it. Or you can hit snooze, right? It's the decisions that we make. So you have two paths, right? You can say, oh, I'm gonna snooze that alarm. And this goes for anything, right? If you invest in a coach and you could still ignore them, right? There's No one is going to force you to do this stuff, right? At the end of the day, it's going to be your decision, your choice. You're going to do what you want to do. So you can go down two different paths, right? The path of, okay, like I don't feel super great. I'm still going to get, even if it's a 15-minute workout in, I'm going to go down this path. Or you can go down the other path, like I feel like crap. I'm going to stop at the fast foods place on the way home. I'm going to feel even more like crap after I eat it. And then I'm going to go to sleep. And I'm just going to repeat that process over and over and over again. Or, right, you can finally decide, like, actually, you know what, I'm gonna make one change today, right? I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna do something, even if it's a 10-minute walk, right? So you have to start building these habits, and that's what's gonna build that motivation, right? Because you're gonna start seeing results. You're gonna start seeing the weight start to fall off. You're gonna see that you need to buy new clothing. You're gonna feel stronger in the gym if you're getting workouts in. And from there, that's where the motivation kind of rolls forward because you start to see results and you start to get addicted to the results. The initial start is always the hardest. Think about anything new that you've done over the years. Maybe it was like starting college, playing a new sport, right? Meeting new people. How awkward is it when you're an adult and you're trying to meet new friends? It's very stressful. It's new, it's different. Your fitness journey is no different, right? When we get outside of our own comfort zone of what we're constantly doing, it's gonna be you're gonna feel resistance. You're gonna resist it. It's totally normal. We all do it. The more you break that resistance, the easier it's gonna become, right? My wife and I, we travel in an RV. We travel to different states constantly, constantly meeting new people, constantly stepping into a new gym environment, constantly trying to figure out like our way around. And it's a little stressful, right? It's a little hard to maneuver when you first get there. But as you stay for a little bit longer, you get in your routine, it becomes easier, you start to meet new people. Your fitness journey is the same way, right? You start to see results. It goes on and on and on. And before you know it, you've stuck with it for a month. And by that time, you could be down close to 20 pounds. And the reason I know this because I work with clients and I just got a client down 20 pounds in 5 weeks. And it's just because we built tiny little habits. We didn't do anything crazy. We made slight adjustments. I had her start eating more. I had her start using her pool for exercise. She was working out at home and then went started, it was like, you know what? I'm gonna get a gym membership and it's gonna push me further. So everything, right? It was a little bit of resistance at first, don't get me wrong. But as you progress forward, as she got better and better at it, the easier it becomes, right? We just did a call today and she goes, I had to buy new clothes because I'm already down a couple inches and I don't fit in any of my old clothes anymore. So, and this was only been a few weeks, right? It's only been, I think maybe like we're at close to 8 weeks now. So from where she started to where she is now, she just did tiny changes. That way it's been improvement ever since. And I haven't been like, you have to do X, Y, and Z, anything hard. We came up with solutions. She's a super picky eater. So you have to find ways that are going to work for you. And once you find those ways, it becomes very, very simple, very, very easy. So if that's something that you're interested in, you're tired of like trying to figure it out on your own, drop the word fit in the comments. I'll reach out to you guys, and then we can figure out a solution specifically for you. And we could be, in touch. We'll figure out what to do and how to do it. It's going to be something that works for your time, your equipment, your nutrition goals, all that fun stuff. So that way you don't feel lost anymore. Because I know how frustrating that can be for a lot of people is they feel super lost in their fitness journey. They keep doing the same things over and over and over again. It works for a short time, but when they get done with it, it doesn't work anymore. So the goal here is long-term success, especially with your professions. All right. So any questions at all, you can go ahead, drop them in the comments, and I will reach back out to you guys. This replay will be up. I'll make sure that if, I know some people are catching it live, but for those that are just seeing me come live now, it'll still be up for you. And that's all I have for you guys tonight. Besides that, oh, tonight's my wife's birthday. Woo, so everyone say happy birthday. Um, we'll go out tonight and do some dinner. But besides that, guys, hopefully you have a good weekend, good nights. And if you see me reaching out to you in the DMs, it's just to help you along, get you closer to your goals, because that's the goal here, right? Inside of this group, get you guys closer to your goals than where you started. And I know a lot of people inside of here have been listening to what I've been going over these past few weeks. I have some people I've seen they're down like, 20 plus pounds just from being inside of this free group. So utilize everything inside here. If you haven't before or you haven't navigated the group, you're still pretty new. Go into the guides tab. I have so many different trainings in there, PDFs, options, show you how to use macros, all that fun stuff. So use what's inside here. And for those that are like, I seen all that stuff, I just can't do it on my own. That's where you start to work with a coach. And that's where you drop the word fit. And like I said, I'll reach out to you. All right. Have a good night, everybody, and stay safe out there.